Hey everybody, and welcome back to Bronze Age Minecraft, a series where we set out to recreate the Bronze Age settlements of ancient Greece. My name is S02E02, and I'm a professional archaeologist and certified interpretive guide. Now, on the last episode, we found a couple really nice spots to do some builds, which is where I'm at right now. And today what I think we'll do is we'll go ahead and prep this area for our first build of Season 2. Along the way, I'll talk about the early Bronze Age, or as it's known on the mainland, the early Helladic period. So, I got my chest down there with all my stuff in it. I need to go back to Pylos to get some more stuff, but first, let's jump right into it with a little bit of terraforming. So I realized that in the entirety of the first season of Bronze Age Minecraft, I never actually explained when and where the Bronze Age was. So let me go ahead and clarify it in this episode. When I talk about the Bronze Age, I mean the Aegean Bronze Age, and there's many other Bronze Ages in the world, but this channel's Bronze Age will be the area in and surrounding the Aegean Sea. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I might bring this back a bit more. I'll have to transfer all this stuff back up that way. Maybe take that out a bit. Maybe that sort of tall portion there out. I might even drop this down another layer. I kept falling down that hole and almost fell down that hole. But let me show you what I got in mind. I was thinking the building I'm going to be building is going to be right here. Maybe it might be back a little bit more. And then there's going to be a defensive wall that kind of comes around this way and kind of curves, which I might actually put like up. Oh, get some more supplies. I might actually have it sort of join up with this, maybe build up this natural hillside a bit more to, I don't know. I may bring this down another layer. But anyways, I'm going to let that cook. I got some cobblestone in there cooking for regular stone so I can fill in some of these holes and not make it look so weird. And then, yeah, while that's cooking, maybe I head back and grab some more supplies. Ooh, maybe I move these up the hill too. Yeah, bring them up here maybe. Also, what's back this way? Is that a sunken ship? Oh, we're definitely going to go check that out. Maybe even talk about shipwrecks. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Okay, so all my stuff are in the chest back there, and I'm looking at this area here, and yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I think I am gonna push this back a little bit, mostly because this big flat area looks weird, and I think I'm just gonna follow this curve back around. So I'm gonna knock this back a bit, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this down by 1 and then fill the whole thing with dirt. Yeah, I think that'll work out really well. Dirt, and maybe even sort of put a layer of dirt going down. I don't know, we'll see. But definitely this layer here that I'm walking on is going to be dirt. Oh, and maybe this too. Maybe I fill this too. Anyways, that's the plan. Yeah, and then let me show you where the center is going to be. All right, that's the center. I'm looking at my map, and that should be about right. So yeah, I think I'll take maybe this down and back, and I'm definitely going to take that back a little bit, and then take this down by one, fill it with dirt. Maybe, or maybe I just cover the whole thing with dirt. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it'll give me some more time to talk about the early Bronze Age. So, what areas are considered fair game for the Aegean Bronze Age? Well, mainland Greece for one, the Aegean Islands, and Crete in particular. However, Anatolia is not off the table, so Troy is a definite possibility. So far, we've only dealt with the mainland, and with very few exceptions, we're pretty much going to stay on the mainland. But just for your information, the mainland's Bronze Age periods are referred to as Hellatic, the Cyclades as Cycladic, and Crete's periods as Minoan. As for time frame, the Bronze Age is understood to be roughly from about 3000 BCE to about 1150-ish BCE. Now those years have a little bit of give on either side. Because archaeologists cannot help themselves, the Bronze Age is divided into a three-period system. The early, with a capital E, Bronze Age, the middle, with a capital M, Bronze Age, and the late, with a capital L, Bronze Age, or, in the case of the mainland, the early Hellatic, middle Hellatic, and late Hellatic. Now, the early, middle, and late Hellatic periods are further divided into three phases, because archaeologists simply cannot help themselves. So you have the early Hellatic 1, 2, and 3, the middle Hellatic 1, 2, and 3, and the late Hellatic 1, 2, and 3, denoted by the initials of the period, so, EH, MH, and LH, and then followed by Roman numerals. And sometimes, those phases are even broken up into three smaller phases, such as the late Hellatic 3A, B, and C. That's probably fine down there. It's at this point you're probably wondering how we go about determining those periods and phases, and it's actually pretty straightforward. We go off of pottery types in most situations. You see, pottery is quite hardy, and as such, it survives in the archaeological record a lot better than other materials. That's already lit up. So when archaeologists see a different pottery type suddenly pop up, they generally mark it down as an indicator of change. I'll get into why this becomes an issue in regards to the Bronze Age in a later episode. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy, but what are we talking about in regards to actual years?
Well, the early Helladic period is from roughly 3000 to 2000 BCE, with Phase 1 being about 350 years long, Phase 2 about 500 years, and Phase 3 being about 150 years. Now I say about because the changes were not a sudden flip of the switch, and it took time to spread. Now, the Middle Helladic period is from roughly 2000 to 1700-ish BCE, with Phase 1 being about 100 to 150 years, Phase 2 being about 150 years, and Phase 3 being as short as 20 years. The Late Helladic was from roughly 1700 to 1150-ish BCE, with Phase 1 being as short as 40 years, and the second and third phases of the Late Helladic are so heavily divided into subphases and sub-subphases that it's just a jumble of letters and numbers, and the exact years change depending on who you talk to and where you're at. Okay, that was a ton of information I just threw at you. Glad you're paying attention. Now, the last thing I want to do before we end this episode is I want to get the outline of the buildings I'm going to be putting down here, or at least the one building and some of the defensive wall that I'm going to be putting up. And best way to do that is with a shovel. I'm going to do path blocks to outline the buildings, just like how I've done before in the past. And yeah, we'll check it out at the end. So, let's get into it. For us, Late Helladic 2 should be starting somewhere around 1600-ish, and Late Helladic 3 somewhere around 1400-ish, just to be safe. Matter of fact, I said the Late Helladic was until 1150-ish BCE, but that's not exactly true either, as the Bronze Age continues even after the societal collapse in the early 12th century. However, for our purposes, we're just going to end the Bronze Age, air quotes, at the collapse starting in the late 13th century into the 12th century BCE. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I think I'll probably take some more of that down. Ooh, watch out. I'll probably put some more dirt over here, probably fill this in with dirt here, and then that'll give me just enough room to maybe put, like, I don't know, a little building there. I don't know. This looks good. I mean, this looks good as is. I should probably continue the wall this way. I don't know. This is basically the layout of the site. So, yeah. All right. That's it for this episode. So until next time, see you then.